Here we go.
All right, my name is Becky Pulsifer, and I am a confessed sugarholic. I love to bake, I love to cook, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Cher's Cooking Center in Gilbert, but I used to be kind of an addict of going to her classes weekly. And I got a Bosch machine, and I got a Nutrimill, and I wanted to learn how to grind my own bread and bake all these yummy, tasty treats for my family. I'd sit in her classes every week and just dream about, I wonder if she's ever going to sell this place. Maybe I could teach a cooking class, but we'll probably find here that I would never do very well at that. But anyway, so I started baking bread weekly for my family and making like whole grain cinnamon rolls, and I don't know, I just have always liked to bake, so we always had like fresh cookies once or twice a week. And then earlier this summer I wasn't feeling very well, and so I actually went to Brimhall Wellness and they did some muscle testing on me because I have a normal position, but anyway, and he said, yeah, your thyroid's out of whack. He's like, your resting heart rate is 100 beats per minute. And I could feel it. I could feel my chest was hurting. I was really tired all the time, and he's like, your thyroid's wacking up. And I had problems with it before, so I had a feeling that that's what it was. But the endocrinologist told me, you don't need to worry about it. You have subacute thyroiditis. It's just temporary. It will eventually work itself out. And so I kind of just shoot it aside, and I never felt like complete wellness. And so this summer he said, it's related to gluten. He did muscle testing with me. He's like, your gut just cannot handle the gluten, and it's manifesting itself through this autoimmune disorder. And there's a lot of autoimmune disorders that are kind of related to the gut and to gluten or sugar or just things that are kind of inflammatory to our systems. And so this summer, actually, Leah was in one of the classes with me, or I guess this fall, Glenn Beck's event. A lady named Lori Vukic came and spoke to us, and she talked about how she had mastered her health and her daughter's health from rheumatoid arthritis by, kind of just taking care of our vessels and feeding it right. So naturally, I cannot give up my goodies and my sugar, because I just think it's a coping mechanism for me. It's probably the first thing I turn to. So anyway, today I'm going to make sweet nutty fudge for you. And so we'll get started on that. And I had never had dates before I tried her recipe book. And so that's a little scary for me because they look like giant raisins. So anyway, you need a cup of dates and pitted. Have them pitted before you. I don't know how hard that would be.
Is this in Lori's cookbook?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And I actually have the recipe for you guys too.
Oh.
So a cup of dates, a cup of unsweetened coconut, and my dad actually had diabetes, and eventually it was one of the contributing factors that killed him. And so I get kind of scared that I'll get I was borderline gestational diabetes, and so that was enough to scare me to realize that I'm not exempt from maybe getting type 1 diabetes like he did midlife. So I know that I need to take better care of myself. So this is my attempt. I'm not perfect all the time. Sorry, it's coconut oil. It's kind of firm, but you can microwave it, or I don't know. Microwaving kind of kills the nutrients and things, so. But coconut oil can go soft in a warm room, and it can go hard in a cold room, so. So I've started making some gluten-free cookies. So if anybody's trying to eat healthy, no gluten, no problem, .blogspot is a great spot to find all kinds of gluten-free goodies that are really good so you don't feel like you're depriving yourself. And then there's also Lori's site where I'm getting this recipe from. And her website is nature'sknockout.com.
Nature's knockout.
Mm-hmm. And she does all kinds of natural things. She's really strict about everything being raw and down to her. She's a makeup artist, and so all her makeup is natural. And I'm just trying to baby step it because it can be really overwhelming to try to like change just my eating habits, let alone my makeup and daily routine. The great thing about this is my kids love these snacks that I make. So they don't know that there's all these hidden, yummy, healthy things for them in there. So anyway, a cup of coconut oil, and cacao powder is kind of hard to find. I think you can find it at Sprouts and Whole Foods, but Whole Foods is kind of far away. But it's healthier than cocoa powder. I think it's a little bit more potent too. And then it says that you can add, carrot powder, but that's hard to find. So Lori said you can just add cocoa powder or the cacao powder in place. So that's what I did. I just added extra cacao powder. Okay, a 4th teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of vanilla. Sorry, I don't have my recipe memorized. Okay, and that's all we need. So, coconut oil, the dates, unsweetened coconut, cacao powder, vanilla extract, and sea salt. And I kind of like to think of this as a fudge, but then also it's kind of like a candy bar, like your own homemade little candy bar that you can have. So I should turn it on. And you just pulse it. It takes a little while to like bring down the steam. You don't have to add it in, but you already have coconut in, so you might as well add. She says to slightly pulse the walnuts into it. I did that in the fudge that's over there, and it kind of really broke down my nuts. So sorry. I kind of like them more chunky, so I was kind of disappointed that I pulsed them too much in the bars that are over there. And that's really all that you have to do. And you just scrape it out, spread it in your pan, and then refrigerate it for 2 hours, and then you want to store it in your fridge. And then I just like to like break off little pieces of bar and eat them as any snack, and then it keeps your blood sugar low because you really don't even have any sugar or honey even in there. So I made this bar, and then I also made some chocolate pudding over there. But it's kind of, I wanted everybody to try it before and try to guess what's in it. But it does. The pudding has coconut milk in it, raw honey. Costco has great raw honey. Tastes really good, and banana and avocado. Mm-hmm. And then you have the cacao powder in there also, and a little bit of cinnamon.
And the pudding.
And the pudding. So you can try it. It's a little hard to get used to at first, but my 1-year-old went bananas over it. And I know that I would never be able to get her to really eat avocado without it being in there. All my kids scarfed it all down, and they're getting healthy crazy stuff. And so I think it's a good change for my kids and for my family. My husband's trying to lose weight, but he can still have the sweet treats, and my thyroid has calmed down a lot. And so I know that by changing our diet, we can be our own pharmacy and help heal our bodies and become stronger because of that. And I feel like just with Obamacare and so many questions of healthcare up in the air, that really ultimately we're the ones in charge of taking care of our vessels. Thank you.
Yay, Becky! Woo! That was awesome, Beck.
Thank you.
I would
That was
love
great.
some of your,
Okay,
some
so
of your recipes,
I
some
can
of your
do
favorites and stuff.
So these
Yeah,
are
we
the,
have to get an action item on that to email us the.
Oh, she's handing it out right
yeah,
now.
I can email it to you
yeah,
too.
okay.
I can email you.
This is fantastic.
Oh, and by the way, Obamacare is going to take care of all of us.
Yeah, Becky,
Yeah.
what are you
What did you
talking
mean?
about? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I have like a friend that's from Canada, and her grandma just died because
Of
she had.
Obamacare?
I would
She's in
too.
Canada, so we're getting,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, kind of like the healthcare like them, and she just died because she had to wait 6 months for an MRI.
It's ridiculous. I have
Yeah.
clients that are Canadian, and they're like, we literally have to wait like 9 weeks to get like a skin thing checked on our leg. It's ridiculous.
By the way, that's already happening in Tucson before Obamacare. It's so bad down there, and there's not enough doctors for the people that if you're sick, even if you're like on death's door, unless you go to the emergency room, you're waiting.
Send them some pudding.
So Becky, you just started this since we saw Laurie.
This is a recording.
Oh my gosh.